Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Midwest Outdoors. I'm professional bass angler Ron Johnson, but today we're in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan chasing after walleyes. It's going to be an interesting day because we just had about 85 degrees yesterday, had a major cold front with about 4 inches of rain, so we have some different conditions to deal with, but our goal today is to share with you some of the different techniques I like to do when I'm approaching different lakes up here in the UP. All right, so we're out here, and one of the things that I always do when I get onto a new body of water up here in the Upper Peninsula, especially one that I've never explored before, is I look for the weeds. I'm actually out here on an edge of a contour, and most of the weeds up here in the Upper Peninsula, because a lot of this water is tannic looking, a lot of the weeds that I look for, like cabbage weed, and as they call it, a perch weed, where the walleye like to hang out, is usually in anywhere from 4 to 12 feet of water. So I like to find a hard edge. So right now I'm kind of going up an edge here on my Lowrance. I like to find isolated grass patches or an actual hard weed edge. What I have noticed up here is you find walleye weeds, you're gonna catch the walleye. They use these as a highway to run the hard edge, or even my favorite is to find an isolated grass patch that's actually going to be just outside of a hard edge. It's very key to utilize not only your side imaging and DownScan when locating walleye, but again, the importance of active target forward facing will help you locate offshore structures so you can pinpoint those offshore grass patches. So let's see if we can't find some fish. Okay, there we go. Hoping it's a walleye. That was a really subtle bite. Let's take a look here. So you can see we got really dirty water here. These fish are pinned to the bottom, so I'm not seeing the fish at all on my forward facing, but I am seeing the weeds. And as you can see, we got a nice walleye. There we go. Now that there is a beautiful walleye. The fish are very, very tight. And as much as I do not like to use live bait, I think it's messy, but again, I learned a few years ago when nothing else was working with artificial, you throw on a live bait, and these walleye, what they'll do is they'll actually, when they're on the bottom, they actually will pin this to the bottom and just suck it in. I didn't even feel the bite. They hid that light. You know, you can use a variety of jig heads. This has been one of my favorites for the last few years. It's a teardrop by Eagle Claw, and it's got a Pro V bend hook in it, and it has a little bit of a bait keeper underneath there. So when you slide up your half of a crawler, it'll actually stay pinned on there and doesn't come sliding down. I'm not sure what we got here. Hopefully another walleye. It does, looks like a beautiful walleye. So we moved to some cleaner water. We've been dealing with really, really dirty water, and it just wasn't working out. I'm gonna do the old bass flip on this one. I got some good Yo-Zuri T7 on here, so there we go, look at that. So this here is a beautiful walleye. When I talk about the kind you wanna eat, these are them. You know, maybe a little bit on the big side, but you can see these walleyes, how thick they are, just how beautiful in color they are, and they're very, very reminiscent of the Canadians. They got the real dark colors with the bright, beautiful yellow. We're gonna let this one go to live another day, but what a beautiful walleye. So let me just show you guys what's happening and what happened here on that last fish. I'm running a hard weed edge, but I'm panning out with my active target, and there's an isolated patch out here. It's about 20, 30 feet long, and there's actually a lot of space in between the hard weed edge that starts again off to my right. So I casted past this weed edge, the isolated weed edge, and slowly work it through there. And we're only sitting in 7.9 feet of water, 8 feet of water. So what I do is I cast on out, let that bait hit the bottom. It doesn't take long in 8 feet of water. I'm using a 1/4 ounce jig head. And what I do is I reel up the slack, and instead of really big hops, all I'm doing is just flicking the wrist. And I'm barely just getting that jig to hop up about an inch or two, maybe 3 inches. I see a lot of guys out here just ripping, and that does work with the jigging spoons and getting their attention. But even subtle approach with a jigging spoon produces more often than just ripping it really hard. And that's one of the mistakes I see a lot of people use. So again, just kind of lifting that up, and then all of a sudden you'll just feel heavy pressure on there, and you want to set that hook. Again, you're going to hit the weeds once in a while, like I am right there. Just pop it free, and a lot of times those walleye will grab it. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, it has been a real tough bite today. Looks like another beautiful walleye. This water is dirty. We've got maybe a foot of visibility where normally it's, 6, 7 feet. So we started the day off, it was 55 degrees, and I'm just giving you guys an update because the day went anything but planned so far. This fishing has just been nothing but tough. As we like to say in fishing, it has been a grind. So what I thought we were gonna be doing today is ripping spoons, catching them on Yo-Zuri 3DB jerk baits for these suspended fish. But it has been the crawler. It's been far and few between, but because of the water clarity and all this pressure systems, going from warm to cold, it has made the bite tight, tough. So without that crawler today, it probably wouldn't have come together, but we're slowly pecking away, but it hasn't been easy. But this is the reward for sticking it out. Another beautiful walleye. I'm gonna let her go and hopefully catch her again. Looks like we got ourselves another walleye. Okay, I gotta tell you guys something. You know, I think we're starting to figure something out here. It's taken a little while, and first thing I figured out by looking at this fish is he's been attacked before. Take a look at that. There are big pike in here, and I'm assuming that he got bit by a pike. Wow, lucky to be alive, guy. So I think we're onto something now, but the key is slow down. We're all in a hurry to change baits and keep moving. If you get into an area, the worst thing I could say is moving a bait a little too fast. So slow it down once and see if that doesn't help you out. Looks like we got ourselves another walleye. We're up in about 6 feet of water too. So one of the really cool things about fishing up here is the majority of the walleye that I do catch, they're anywhere from 4 feet to 12 feet. You find the weeds or you find these flats, you know, get on some points, you'll actually find these walleye. Again, another beauty. You're just barely nipping this thing too. And that can't be more than 2 inches of a crawler in the back of that eagle claw teardrop head. I like to use the fire tiger colors. So when we talk about baits up here in the Upper Peninsula, if you come up chasing walleye, I'll give you just a few baits you need. A jig head and a crawler, grab yourself a jigging spoon, a white or any kind of fire tiger, a cast master, something that's about a ½ ounce that you can just jig nice and slow off the bottom. Grab yourself a Yozuri jerkbait. Have a little bit of white, or even the one that I like to use is called Smelt, works excellent. And then occasionally you can throw a Ned rig or a 4-inch sway minnow, which is a darter head in a 4-inch sway by Duckett. There we go, working that hump. Feels like another decent walleye. I don't think these are the 26, 27 inchers that are prevalent in a lot of these waters, but nonetheless, beautiful little walleye. No trouble for the Duckett medium heavy rods either. When they're about 2 pounds, you know, I'll go ahead and flip them. Anything bigger than that, you know, when you're using a medium rod, I don't usually like to boat flip them, but he's hooked pretty good. Another beautiful walleye. I don't know if it's an actual walleye though. It's fighting really strange. Well, it's got some weight to it though, so maybe it is a walleye. You know, I've said this earlier, we've been out all day and the game plan has been no game plan. It went from, oh my gosh, it's a beautiful walleye. Take a look at this. You know, this water, as you can see, you don't have visibility more than a foot or two, and where I'm at, we've got some rivers that are dumping into this particular body of water, and it has just mucked it up. So it's been really, really difficult to get on any kind of pattern here. There we go. Now that here is a really, really nice walleye. Normally on this body of water that I'm at in the UP, these are pretty average. And you can see it's probably a good 23 to 24 inch walleye. We just really had to work hard all day. I don't know, maybe we have like 9 or 10 fish today, but they're all beautiful fish. And if you stick with it, you can be rewarded. Okay, we're gonna let that beautiful walleye go. All right, guys, well, it's been a fantastic day out here in the water. Plan A turned into Plan D, but we made it work and had a fun day. So if you want to learn more about the products we're using in the gear, check out the links below and stay tuned for more Midwest Outdoors.